Well, I'm out in the car again. Let's pick up the story of the emperor's daughter and the king's son. Now, the Rabbeinu Kodesh, according to Rav Shek, is telling us really the secret of the universe here. But that secret actually devolves on us, because we're the ones that are appointed by Hashem and created for the purpose of being able to try to straighten out the world. That's what we try to do. We try to do this through our prayer and our study of the Torah. So here we have a force which is descending force that wants to bring the Shefa, the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, into our world. And we have another force which is in a much lower place. Now we have to understand that all of the worlds of Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya are basically one. Although the separation that takes place between Bria and Atzilus is real, but nonetheless, it's all one thing. So whatever is happening in the most interior part is also happening where we are, because that's where the interior is not existing for itself. That is the Atzilus, that close part of reality that we can understand, which is closest to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. That part of reality is also a part of us. And so we understand like this, a general rule is that if there's such a thing, if we could say that the Rav is saying to us that there is such an expression as Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, and we understand that even in the lower world, Asiya, there is an Atzilus and a Bria and a Yetzirah and Asiya of the Asiya itself. The same way with all the rest. All of them, everything is composed of everything else. So when he speaks of the ultimate purpose of the universe, he's talking about you and me just as easily as he is talking about Eric Anpin and the Malchus of Eric Anpin. So here we have two forces. One force that needs, because it realizes it's living in a certain darkness, whatever darkness that is part of our lives, as we don't know everything that's going on. And the other force is a force that wants to bring the light to that place. They have to be lined up. It's a crazy story here. So he switches story and he wants to talk about a merchant. And he said, it was a very famous merchant. And he had business ties in all the whole world. He had a certain son. Now the socher got old, because that's what it is. You have all the money in the world, and you could just, most powerful thing in the world, but the world is rolling around, and your time comes, and you're going to leave the world, and you can't take it with you. So now the son, what was he doing with his time? He said to his father, now you're old and I'm young. So you have a lot of people, you trust them, your accountant, your whatever it is, your business partners, all these different people, they all trust you, but none of them knows me. And they're never going to be able to do any business with me, or they won't do any business with me because they don't know me. So he says, and one day you're going to be gone. And I'll be over here, I'll be empty. I won't have anything at all. I'm not going to know what to do. So give me a boat. Give me some merchandise. Let me sail the world and make some money. And I'll go on to the Yam. And remember, he has a little metaphor going with the word Yam, because the word Yam is the number 50. So he's going to try to set himself up so that he can get a little piece of the Kedusha that resides in this Yam. Because he wants to know how to do it. He wants to know how to get some of this Kedusha. So the father set him up. So he went out into the world, and he started enticing people and doing what he had to do. Now I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Nobody said anything about him being on the side of bad. So he sold, he bought, and he sold, and he was successful. So now that, as Rav Shek is saying, that the Rebbe is brought to the idea of how the worlds are developed. It is that the worlds are developing by the feeling of, not the feeling, but by lacks, that is which is lacking, and that which is being provided, and bringing the two of them together, rubbing them together, so to speak, and creating something new. And then a new world comes. And the same process goes along. This is called in Kabbalah Mad Uman. That is the force that's bringing Shefa or Bracha to that which is lacking. Those two forces, and the other's called Man, Maim Nukvin, reaching up, trying to come close to the source of Bracha and be able to get it. So he says, now that he's told us this fact, that this is the basic functioning of the world, so he goes through that. Rav Shik now says in the book, he says, Atek, these are the names of the different partsufim. Atek, Arich, Anpin, Abba, Ve'ima, and Zer, Venukva, that's Zer Anpin, and Nukva, which is called Zun. Mitachidus etzem etzilus ajgashmias oilam hazeh. So he has explained it from the beginning of etzilus, so that we have Eric Anpin in his Nuk. We have Eric Anpin in his, that is Kaviyachal, that there is an Eric Anpin, which is not something physical, but we use those words, is that this tremendous shefa is out there, but it also goes down into the next parts, because we can look at them sideways, we can see they're all the same, except they're further away from the Ein Sof. So he says this world, and till we get to where we are, the Olam Atzilus, the Olam Hazeh Hamalei Avhios V'Gashmi, is a world here that is full of density and thickness and physicality. Holamos v'Hastaros, holamos, things that are hidden, things that are secreted. Shen Lamas v'Nisteris Emitim B'Tziyosi Yisbarach. What is it that's hidden? The hidden is the reality of the fact that there's Hashem Yisbarach, Ani Hashem, B'Kerach B'Aretz. I am in the midst of the world. I am the world. Yesh Sorcha Godel v'Osik b'Masamatan. So then he says there's a big-time merchant out there. He's doing business. V'Shokech L'Gamri Sheyesh Bori Kol Lamos. And he has completely and totally forgotten that there was ever a creator. He is a force by himself. Ki b'Zechav Olam Ha'adam Ma'od Masukan. Because in the world that we live in, we're in tremendous danger. Ki b'Kol Rega Yachol L'Shkoch as Makor Machsavto. So because at any moment you could forget, because of one reason or another, could be because you became extremely wealthy and you don't need anything else. Could be because you lost your temper so badly that you really don't know who you are or where you are in the world, or maybe you're very frightened, or whatever it would be. But it is possible, even in a moment, you could regain yourself, but it's very possible to get completely and totally lost in this world. Umi bara umi machayehu. Who created you? How'd you get here? Who gives you life? What is the life force that's inside of you? Who nizkan b'maasav mata. So this merchant has become old in dealings. Azai baba nova omalo. So then his son comes and he says to him like this: Ata distalek, you're going to die. And what's going to become of me? What's going to happen to me? You'll be gone. Below I'm not going to know what to do. I don't have any business. You never trained me. You were so busy doing business. Whatever you do, you never train me. That's the way. One way that Rav Shikwa says we can look at this. So the son is waiting, and he sees by his father. And he saw that his father didn't have time for him. So he was so busy working on business. And he was busy working on his different kind of whatever thing he was into. So then the son's a little bit angry. He's angry, you left me short here. You didn't have me by your side. So the son, that's not a chutzpah then. That's not a problem for him. To open up, and he say to him, he said, Aviv open galui, so he can say to him with an open mouth. He says, Anta distale ve'ehen nishareg, so you're gonna die, and I'm gonna have nothing. Lo edem ala sells, and what am I gonna do? I won't know what to do. Believe shum boshaklal. He says this without any embarrassment. He thinks he has a right to say this. So he says the main thing a person have to know is that to teach your son or to train someone who's younger, it begins with yourself. Adam sarv lahargil as atzma lebroch tamed rakalov yisbarach. Person has to realize that you are in control of your relationship with the true amitas mitziyos of yisbarach, with the truth of the reality of Hashem. It's you that's in control. You have to make yourself. Here's his word, Rav Shik, to accustom yourself to run away to God. Rak olov yisbarach. Only to Him may He be blessed. Yizohar ma'od lehispala b'minyan erev avoga b'tzai raya mitzvah brings a little shmos for you. Always make sure you pray in a minyan. V'yikayim as a mitzvahs b'sibcha, the mitzvahs that you do. Fill them with joy. Be thankful that you have a chance. B'simcha tzuma of a hider rav, and make tremendous glory off of those mitzvahs. V'yikva itim l'Torah. Make sure that you have special time set aside for learning Torah. V'yishmar as atzma ma'od lo lasos avol lezulas, and make sure that you guard yourself tremendously, that you don't hurt anybody else. Mikol shechein lo ligno, for certainly don't steal. Chas v'sholom. Olasos ezer ramos ba'asakim shalos. There are people who think that they're very, very religious, but on the other hand, they get a little tricky when it comes into business, so their yes is not a yes and their no is not a no. Can't be like that, he says. You have to make sure that you have faith in the fact that Hashem Yisbarach is there. So there, that on the rightness of his heart, the person can rely. Shagam beno yechake, so that the person would also wait for him, that his son will wait for him. And certainly, if you're a person that it fulfills the mitzvah of honoring your father and your mother, and your ultimate goal is really to do the maximum there, so then also his children will fulfill it with him. Mitzvahs kiva av aim, they'll do the same thing. They'll see that you did it, and so therefore they're going to do it. But the moment that a person puts his heart and his mind into all the nonsense, the hot air of this world that leads us to no place, and then he just gets involved in whatever it meets his fancy or whatever his business is. He becomes a big-time merchant, and as a result of that, he forgets Hashem. Then his son is going to be upset. The son is going to have any problem with this father who never taught him a thing and never brought him into the world of Torah and never really showed him what Derech Eretz was. He's going to have any trouble opening up his mouth. Ata testalek v'hengin nesha reka, but you're going to leave. You're going to die, and you're going to leave me empty. V'lo edem alasos, and I've never been trained. I will not come for myself with Hashem. Ki gavar amra chamena gadosha. The rabbis also said, it's a Gemara in Sukkah. Shusu dinuka b'shuka o de'revucha o de'ime. So what does Rashi say? What does this phrase mean? Rashi says, a Perish Rashi, Mashal Hedyot. This is a common story, or saying. Masha tinok medaber b'shuk. When you hear a kid saying something, either he heard it at home, either he heard it from his father, he heard it from his mother. So therefore, if you're going to try to teach somebody, you have to start with yourself, and you have to make your relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu the most important thing in your life. L'chanek es atzmo, in order to train yourself, so that the straightness of your heart, you can rely on the fact that you're trying to do what's straight. That your son is not going to turn around and start talking to you like that. So now the story goes like this. While he's out on the sea, so now we had this story where the daughter of the emperor, she got lost a little bit, and she made her way to the sea. Now we said, what did she do when she was lost? Because here, what she represents is she represents the desire, the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, to be mashpia to us, to bring us from Eric Anpin, from all the Eric Anpins and all the olamos of Etzilus, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, to bring all of that down into us is what she wants to do. But that requires a receptacle to be able to receive it. And unfortunately, when you get down into this world's a trap. This world is a very dangerous place. So therefore, what does she do? She makes her way to the sea. What sea? The Yama Chachma. She wakes her to say the people know the Derech and Torah in order to be able to preserve themselves, to continue on. So he says, so then this Socher son, let's see if I've got the right. So yeah, the Socher son now, he's got a boat. He's out in the boat, and he's going to learn how to do Socher business, that is the merchant's business. Now he said, so he can see there's a yeshiva out there. Bas Kesersham, because the daughter of this king is there. Now, what is she? She's a tremendously bright light. She's the most attractive thing in the whole universe because she is the Shefa of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. And so he saw, well, there must be some civilization around here, some place of physicality and the physical pleasures that I'm seeking. So he wanted to go over there. So when he got closer, he saw that it wasn't a city, but it was trees. So some kind of a Torah center, a place where the light, the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, can have a place to rest. But he wanted to go back. So he didn't think there was anything there. What could he do in a yeshiva? I mean, what's for this merchant over there? So then he looked and he saw Hainu ben Socher, that is the son of this merchant that's out on the road. The Socher Yam. So he's looking into the sea. Now, before we said the sea is like the Yam HaChachma. So how does he looking into the sea? Why not? He sees the people see the Jewish people. They see the Jewish people prospering, and they want some for it for themselves. They think we're making a lot of money, and something about being Jewish automatically makes you have a lot of money. Of course, then on the other hand, it can make you very jealous of that, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know that whole story. So he looks into this yam, and he saws what seems to be an image of a person, all of Kamare Adam, and on this yam is the appearance of an Adam. Now remember, especially if you're learning the Sod class, the universe is formed in the shape of a man, not in a physical shape of a man, but it flows in the same way that a thought flows from the top of our head down to the bottom of our feet, so that we have action, we have thought, and we have action. So he's able to see that there is such a thing like this. So he says, Shema hu toa atzma. So he's looking at this, and he's saying, no, in this light that I'm looking at that's out there, which I'm not really particularly interested in, but it looks like there's a person there, and it looks like a very desirable person. So he started saying this to the other people that were around him. So they looked out, and they saw, you know what? He's right. There's an image of a man over there. So he says, Al Ilan. So they decided themselves, well, you know what? Let's go see what we can get out of that. Let's go see what it is. So they sent out some man with a very small boat. Now, then he says, this is very curious to me. What were they doing? They were looking into the yam. Again, we said, what the yam of Chachma, yam of Bina. What does it mean exactly? What is he looking at that he wants to get to? So he says, in order to get them to the right place, they have to look into the yam to a certain extent. So now the yam is becoming a guide for them. So they shouldn't get off the track. So they went there and they saw Sheyoshev Sham Adam. So they could see that there's actually something living there. They see it as a person. So he said, so he said to them, so let me see what so he said, so there's this one sailor that went out to look for this. He came back and he said to them, so then the king, that is the Ben Socher, not the king, but the son of the merchant, went there. And they saw her dwelling there. So what do we say? So said this is the Myra of tremendous power of the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. They saw this there. They want it for themselves. So he says, let me try to finish up here. So they said to her that she should come down. So she said that she doesn't want to go into his boat. Why not? The boat is a place of capture. The Glos is a place of Tuma. So he says, Ki im shavticha, but they have to make a promise to her, so she'll come along with them. Shelo yigaba, that they wouldn't touch her, they won't profane her. Ki im kashiyavu the besa, the yisa also kedas, and thus they take her to his house and take her back with him properly, and that he should marry her in the proper way. and he said that to her. Why? So he represents all the forces that are the wrong forces. Let's see what he says. And he wants to make a yichud with the most powerful force in the universe, which is the force of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Let's read a little bit more here, and we'll try to finish up now. This is not the one that she's to marry. But what she said to him is in a way that anyone who has Kedusha around him and finds himself in a situation where they're in danger, so she had to speak with a certain amount of Chachma in order to save herself from him. Like Shlomo HaMelech said in Mishli, you have to have weapons in order to make yourself a war, to fight in a war. So now he says like this: if the Yetzer Hara comes to you, let's say like this, that you're the vessel that is holding this tremendous power of this of the daughter of the emperor, and he wants to trick you, or he wants to make you fall. So you have to have all different kinds of plans, different kinds of weapons to be able to save yourself from that. Because if you want to survive your Yetzer Hara, then you're going to have to become very, very wise. Because they always say, the rabbis call the Yetzer Hara a king who is old and foolish. He wants to cause you to fall with different kinds of sins and iniquities. He wants to trap and get a hold of your thinking. So the rabbis already said, a man does not commit an aveira. So therefore you have to do every single action that you can in order to save yourself from the Yetzer Hara, who wants to cause you to fall. So now we have her about to enter into the boat. That's the shir for today.